Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into a remarkably elegant 300-year-old mathematical equation that literally dictates the physical resistance we experience in our everyday lives. I absolutely love unpacking topics like this, mostly because it takes something we all intuitively feel and experience and translates it into pure, predictable logic. We are talking about the math of the bounce.
Okay, let's jump right into this tactile mystery. Just think about it for a second. If you've ever been on a trampoline, you know exactly how this feels, right? You do a tiny little hop, you get a tiny little bounce back. But if you launch yourself high into the air and come crashing down, the trampoline responds by launching you back up with incredible force. So why does our physical world react this way to our movements? Why isn't the bounce just exactly the same every single time?
To answer that, we need to look at Section 1, defining Hooke's law, the 300-year-old rule governing all of this. At its core, Hooke's law simply states that the force needed to extend or compress a spring is directly proportional to that distance. Basically, the law explains that springs naturally resist being stretched or squished. They just want to return to their resting state. And what's really beautiful about this is that the resistance isn't some random occurrence. It scales up completely linearly. It all boils down to this. Force equals the spring constant multiplied by displacement. Now, displacement is really just a fancy scientific word for the distance you've stretched or squished the spring. So the absolute crucial point here is that if you pull twice as hard on a spring, it's going to stretch exactly twice as far. And that spring constant, that's just a number representing the specific stiffness of whatever material you happen to be pulling on. It's a wonderfully simple proportional relationship governing the mechanics of elasticity.
Theories are great and all, but let's move to Section 2, the math in action, and look at a concrete example.
Imagine a spring with a specific spring constant, say 200 newtons per meter. If you apply a 10 newton force to it, you get a 5 centimeter stretch. Now, if we double that applied force to 20 newtons, the stretch perfectly doubles to 10 centimeters. 10 gets you 5, 20 gets you 10. It is perfectly linear. You can predict exactly how the material will behave just by doing some incredibly basic multiplication in your head.
But as with pretty much everything in the physical world, there are limits. Which brings us to Section 3, the elastic limit and its mechanical boundaries. As long as a material stays within its elastic limit, everything we just talked about holds true. The spring stretches out, and when you let go, it springs right back into its original shape. But if you push or pull a material way past that elastic limit, it deforms permanently. It bends or warps or it just snaps. And once you cross that invisible line, our simple, predictable, proportional math completely breaks down. The equation just doesn't apply anymore because the structural integrity of the spring is totally gone.
Now here's where it gets really practical. Let's look at Section 4, everyday springs and real-world design.
We usually hear the word spring and just picture a little metal coil, but the reality is so much bigger than that. This single equation is literally the backbone of modern structural design. Hooke's law underlies your car's suspension system, ensuring that when you hit a massive pothole, the car absorbs the force proportionally and bounces back, rather than snapping the axle in half. It dictates the design of the mattresses we sleep on, and of course the trampolines we bounce on. It is the driving math behind the incredibly precise little coils in mechanical watches and the mechanisms inside your bathroom scale. Even structural engineering completely relies on materials flexing predictably under load. When a huge gust of wind hits a skyscraper, or thousands of cars drive over a suspension bridge, those building materials are acting exactly like springs. They have to flex according to Hooke's law without permanently deforming, keeping us all safe.
From a simple hop in the backyard to towering skyscrapers, it all comes back to the math of the bounce. This leads us right into Section 5, beyond everyday springs, from the macroscopic down to the micro. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a really fascinating question to ponder. We know that Hooke's law governs the everyday springs we can physically see and touch. But what happens when we zoom way, way in? What entirely different rule takes over when microscopic waves hit the highly ordered atomic structure of a crystal? Well, the simple proportional math of Hooke's law actually gets replaced by something called Bragg's law. But hey, that is an entirely different explainer for another day. Thanks so much for learning with me today, and I'll catch you next time.